What is going on, everyone? I am Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics. Welcome to another Thursday Night Chat. We're going to be hanging out talking comic books. We're going to be talking about some comic book TV shows and a few other things. Before we do that, though, let's hit the intro. All right, so far I got one person joining me on the panel. We'll see if anyone else shows up. We got Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics. What's going on, man?
Oh, I'm just traveling the world today and trying to get rid of one of my children. Now, next month, I'll travel and get rid of the other one and live the dream of every parent, being at home with no children.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. That sounds exciting. That is really, really, really exciting for sure.
That's right.
Absolutely.
The things I'm going to do in that house. Unbox more comics. No.
I said we're gonna have. It sounds like we're gonna have 3 comic book rooms. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's right. I don't need a storage locker now.
There you go. There you go. Before we go any further, I'm going to hit up a couple sponsors and then we'll get started here. Thank you to the amazing people over at the 616comics.com for sponsoring the channel and the monthly Burke Box. They have amazing exclusives, ratio comics, statues, CGC books, all sorts of awesome stuff. Make sure you guys check out the 616comics.com. Thank you to channel members. I don't have the updated version, but included in the family tier, we do have my buddy Circumstances Comics. Great guy. I need to add him on this computer. I did it on the other one, but not this one. That's my fault. But thank you to everyone that supports the channel. Everyone in that family tier is entered to win the monthly Burke Box. Again, sponsored by the 616comics.com. A link to everyone, family tier, friends here. A link to their Instagram and YouTube is in the description of every single one of my videos. So subscribe to them, follow them, and support this amazing community. Thank you also to Eric at comicbook_pressing on Instagram for sponsoring the channel. If you guys ever need any books pressed, consider Eric and use promo code BURKE54. Get free shipping back to you on your first order. Also, we've had a couple people use it, so I'm going to mention it. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube, consider StreamYard. There is an affiliate link below. It costs you the same. I just get a little kickback for you using my link. Okay.
I got a question, Burke.
Yes.
If you upload something on one computer to a web platform, how does it not show up on the other computer?
So I did an edited video on another computer.
Uh-huh.
I did not do a live video on that computer.
Oh, okay. So you didn't upload it something.
No.
Oh, I thought you did updated a card and uploaded it. I'm always saying it's the cloud, man.
No. I put it on the Photoshop machine, and then I just put it straight into the video, and I just didn't think about saving it. So
understood. That makes much more sense to me now.
Yep. Magic Lasso, what is going on, Ryan? How you doing? Make sure you guys check out his latest video. There was some big news. I was already talking to him about some of that news today, possibly hooking me up with something. I think he's
monkeypox.
What's that?
Monkeypox?
No, some sort of comic book stuff. Make sure you guys check out his video. It's definitely not monkeypox. Check out his video. You'll know what I'm talking about. What is going on, Kyle? Yes, I did have a sleeveless on. Unfortunately, I worked out in it, and it looks gross now. I threw it off, threw on some regular clothes, so I looked a little bit better and nicer just for you, Magic Lasso. Paul Rogers, what is going on, sir? I appreciate you answering all of my messages that I sent to you about some comic books and all of that. I appreciate you so much. He is my long-distance comic shop. I'm not sure where Mark is. I'm sure he's getting ready for bed, or maybe he's doing something else with the family. I don't know, but he's welcome. I sent him the link. Everyone in the Burke fam is welcome to join. I put the link in both of my chats. Yes, hit that like button. Scott, what's going on, man? You should join. It's been a minute since you've been on the channel, bro. Kenneth Bird, what is going on? How you doing? Funk Comics 814. Yo, what is going on, sir? How are you doing? Okay. All right. So we have a couple things to talk about tonight. If you guys saw the thumbnail, you'll see there's a Flash comic book on there. I was going to talk about it if anyone wants to. We haven't really done any reviews in a while. You also noticed the She-Hulk trailer, She-Hulk poster was on there. Figured we could talk a little bit about that show. Maybe not spoilery, but we could talk about it a little bit. And you may have noticed an AF-15 on there. And the reason why I wanted to talk about Amazing Fantasy 15 is because that comic was launched on Vive this week. And if you guys don't know what Vive is, it's like it's an NFT platform for comic books and statues, but they're NFTs. They're not physical stuff. And so I was going to ask people what they thought about that. Because there's some people like that is how they get that book because they're never going to be able to own the book, right? And so I want to say it was I don't own a single NFT. I'll just put that out there right away. So you may see my point of view on it, but I believe it was offered at $20.
Oh,
And
Jesus Christ.
And people are trying to resell it right now for $580 last I looked. I'm gonna have to look. What's up? What's going on, Thomas Caps? How's it going? And when I do the NFTs, they do it kind of like variants where they have different covers that when you buy it, you don't know what cover you're getting until later. So you may think you're getting the regular cover, you're actually getting like a variant of it. It's just like a different cover of it, even though it's the same cover. It's hard for me to describe.
So then it's not really even the same book.
It's this right, like because that for that book there should just be one cover. Theoretically.
Well, anytime you do something where you deviate from it, it's no longer, it becomes a duplicate or whatever else. But NFTs, I mean, come on, it's not like the NFTs are something that's designed in the digital realm and stays at. Okay, there's one thing; it's certified that this is the original. But when you're taking something that was created in the paper realm and basically scanning it, and you can make it, there's no original. The NFT is a bunch of bupkis.
Right. So here are the different covers. We have. I'm going to do this. What's going on, Dave?
If somebody can't afford one, that's fine. I can't afford one either, but I have several facsimiles of it.
See, that's exactly. I was going to talk about that because I'd rather own a facsimile than an NFT of it. So they have the regular version, the black and white, or I guess a color hold. They have a white background one. They have one that's like kind of newer looking. Right there, and then they have like the ASM 100 look for the AF-15, which again is super weird to me.
So are they claiming that this is the first version of this on NFT platform? Because it's not.
That I do not know. Okay, so now the regular version is going for $605. The secret variant. The one that looks like the ASM 100 or whatever, people are asking $17,000 for it. Well, 17,000 gems. So, take that for what it's worth.
It's not worth anything in my mind, but to somebody, it's obviously worth something. But whether or not anybody will pay that much.
I was talking to a few people on Facebook the other day, and they said they had something like $75,000 worth of I guess NFT currency on Vive, and when they checked recently, it was down to $2,000.
Yeah.
So they spent 75 grand, and then now it's only worth $2,000.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how much they spent on it, but maybe it had valued up that it had gone up to that value at one point, but not anymore.
Yeah, it was probably something where they had stuff, they sold stuff at certain when it was high, and then now they got their balance now has dropped like anything else, right? But NFTs, I don't get it. I mean, I understand the concept. If I'm a digital artist, and I'm, like some of these comic book creators that create digital content, or the covers are done digitally instead of on paper. Creating an NFT off of that digital file and saying that this is the original, and somebody could own it or whatever. Okay, I still don't get owning something that doesn't physically exist, but I can at least go along with that. But when you come to this concept of creating NFTs of stuff that already exists in the physical realm, and now you're just digitally manipulating it and whatnot, I mean, I guess maybe it's a generational thing, and I just don't get it, and I probably won't ever get it. And if that makes me an old curmudgeon, well, c'est la vie.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into it, but I haven't purchased any. And yeah, I agree. I'd rather have a physical copy. I'd rather have a a 9.8 facsimile of that than the V digital. 'Cause I'd rather have something in my hands. You know what I mean? And I do agree. NFTs and stocks can be like that too if you play the stock market. I mean, it's essentially gambling, right? Like that's the way I look at it. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if Dave feels the same way or not. But
stock market is different in that, I mean, yes, there are ways that people play it that are like gambling, but in reality, you do physically own a percentage of a company.
Right.
sure,
It's
You're
a legitimate thing.
You own a share of the company. You don't actually own the actual comic in the sense.
right.
That's the big flaw with NFTs. I just don't understand why you're going to purchase something like this when you can. I know, in this instance, it's an AF-15. Obviously, it's a very expensive book, the actual book itself, but I don't understand why have all these different exclusive secret variants, different colored variants. What's the need for it?
So I'm like Marcus here. I
And
don't.
they claim that it's extra limited or rarer than the next one. I don't understand that.
I don't get crypto and NFT, but I also understand that it doesn't matter that I don't get it. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I get it, I understand it, but I don't at the same time. Like I don't understand why people pay what they do, but I also collect comic books. But
Right. And there's people who don't understand that. And that's fair enough,
yeah,
But I mean, if you take a book like an AF-15, for example, right? When facsimile, or even let's go with the UF-4, for example. Let's take that one, right? There's a facsimile of a UF-4. But then what happens when, let's say, an artist like Clayton Crane creates a variant, makes his own version of that cover, right? It becomes, is it still a facsimile with a different cover on it? Not by definition. And then what happens if you then, I don't know, staple some plastic on the outside of the cover? Does that make it? These things are no longer what you're trying to claim it is. So they don't make any sense to me either. When people say, "Oh, this is a facsimile," but it's not even the original cover. I mean, it's new art and everything else. Even if it's somebody else's interpretation of it, it's no longer a facsimile.
So I want to ask you about facsimiles. Hey, what's going on, Mike? How's it going? If you want to join the Links in the Burke fam, are you going to get that Detective Comics 27 facsimile next week?
I have several on order.
Okay.
Including I will fully admit I have a 9.8 pre-ordered of the
Nice.
Deck 27 and the Action 1. Because there's a place I can get them for less than $50. And
Wow, nice.
So I'll go ahead and do those because I've seen, like I have a couple. For the most part, I've been getting all these facsimiles as they come out. I like to read them, and some of them appreciate in value. I do plan to get one of my AF-15s graded, simply because I have one of the versions that doesn't have the barcode on it,
Okay.
and that version is like a $300 or $400 copy of that book. So, and I won't own an AF-15. I won't ever own a Deck 27. I won't own an Action 1. Even if I had won the lottery and won billions of dollars, I wouldn't spend that kind of money on a single comic book. It doesn't compute to me. I'll spend a lot of money on comic books, but I'm not. But when it starts approaching car or more, or in the case of Deck 27, some of these things you're talking about hundreds of houses or more. Yeah, no, I hats off to those people who have too much money.
So Scott is saying Dynamic Forces is doing CDC copies of it, but he also says a bad word about them.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing the Dynamic Forces. They're a different company, but I've used it in the past.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm getting 2 from Paul Rogers, and then I'm getting 2 from Ryan. So we'll see if and an extra 2 from Ryan for Panda. So I'm actually getting 4 from Ryan. So
Yeah,
I do as well.
try to pick one up as well next week. I do have a couple of the other I do have like a Fantastic Four #1 facsimile. I do have like
Me too.
a Hulk 181 facsimile.
Which version? First or second printing?
I think it's the first printing.
Yeah, that facsimile went to 2 printings.
Oh, did it? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I got the first printing then. Okay, I wasn't even aware.
Yeah, I have both. But
So I got those. Obviously, I'll never get a Tech 27, so this will be the closest thing to it. So I'll pick one of those as well.
yeah, I put them up on my pull list a while back. So I usually grab a couple from. I usually grab like if it's just a basic like last week with the first Hawkman or Hawkeye, I pick up 2, one for me and one for my giveaway box.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to a big book like an AF-15 or in this case Deck 27 Action 1, I'll usually pick up a couple for my personal box, and then I'll still put 1 or 2 in the giveaway box. So
Yeah, so I mean, I'm getting 4 copies just for me because I'm going to give away at least 1, if not 2, in a Burke box, and I'll probably have 1 that I read, and then 1 that I grade. That's my that's my goal.
Magic Lasso brings a good point. Now that they're doing an Action 1 and a Deck 27, if they don't do a facsimile of first appearance of Wonder Woman, they're gonna show themselves as the sexist bastards they are.
They did do this week. They had an amazing Spider-Man Annual 1 facsimile.
Yep. Yeah.
So Jim, how's it going,
Marvel's done a lot of them. DC hasn't done that many. That's why when I saw Chris, the comic vet, yesterday was showing a box of stuff that he got from Retro Rocket Comics for giveaways, and he had several of the DC facsimiles in there, and I hadn't seen some of them in a while. I've actually been trying to get some extra copies of some of them that they're not available because they are all sold out, and DC doesn't put out the facsimiles quite as much as Marvel has been lately.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on, Brother John? How's it going? We're talking Detective Comics 27, the facsimile that's coming out next week. For people that do not know, there is a facsimile of Tech 27. It's coming out next week. That's going to be $6.99. Yeah, Rob did get a new wall.
Yeah, unfortunately, this computer doesn't have a synthetic wall I can put up there. But
Dave, how many copies you getting?
Just 1.
Just 1.
Just 1 for the PC. That's it.
Okay. Well, I like that. I like it.
Well, and then don't forget, like I said, that Action Comics will be coming out shortly too. So if it's not already past FOC, you might want to check your orders and get those in, so your LCS knows to anticipate your desire for those books, rather than you have to fight everybody else for them.
Now that would be like what? Is this Tech 27's first facsimile? Because I know Action 1's had several.
So, well, Detective 27 has been reprinted. As to whether or not I haven't seen it with the label as a facsimile. Because remember, there's a difference between a facsimile and a reprint. In that a reprint may have different ads in it or other things to it, whereas a facsimile is exactly the same as the original.
Right.
So you have like Spider-Man 1, for example, had a facsimile come out recently, or is it coming out? But it's different than the Golden Records or reprint, right? And I think all the Deck 27s have been out previously. I know that there was one, like, I'm trying to remember there was some food company that was associated with Deck 27 reprint before. So I don't know. Somebody will probably know what it is, but.
So it looks like the Action Comics 1 is going to come out in October.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So still plenty of time to get on there and order it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Magic Lasso, that it was Oreo, but for some reason at the same time, well, it sounds right. It also sounded wrong.
It does sound like Oreo. Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's September 20th, actually. So,
when is it?
The Action Comics 1 is September 20th.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at a graded copy instead of the. Here, I'll just pull it up really quickly.
Well, we're talking about Deck 27, Mark, not Action 1. Action 1, I know 1 was like a Postal Service variant, and then there was like I can't remember who the other ones were, but you know more because I've seen you talk about them. But
yeah, so there it is, $6.99, the same as the Tech 27. Comes out September 20th. So
Absolutely.
yeah, there's been a Loot Crate versions
Okay.
of them too, and they did one of the Brave and the Bold 28. And I bet there's one of those coming as well. Let me look at
Yeah,
that.
no, Brave and the Bold 28 was 2 years ago.
Oh, did I miss it? Did I miss it?
Yeah, I have it. I've been trying to find another one, but they're not readily available. But yeah, no,
Oh, you're right. Yeah, March 18th, 2020.
because my original version of the Great Wall was all facsimiles on the wall, and they were like Brave and the Bold 28, that flat, the two flashes, the
Right.
freaking first Green Lantern, you know, AF-15, Fantastic Four 1. It was a sexy looking wall if they were real.
Right. Nice. Oh shoot, that is amazing. That is amazing.
There's only 1 second printing on that entire wall.
I have on my wall. I have a third print, and everything else is a first print or an exclusive.
Yeah, he gives me grief. I got the Edge of the Spider-Verse that's hanging on my wall is a second print because it's signed and remarked. My first print is in the boxes in the garage, but so it's not like I don't have a first print. It's just it's not the one on the wall.
I'm over here ordering books through the chat on my YouTube live.
There you go.
I try not to buy reprints or facsimiles. They just don't look right next to my originals. Well, I wouldn't disagree with that for you because you are a golden age collector for sure. What's going on, Selwyn? How's it going, man?
Nobody's busting out facsimiles of Disney Donald Duck or whatever.
Right.
They also don't bust out facsimiles of my Flash Gordons either. So I'm not picking on anything. It's like,
There you go.
there's a lot of people selling photocopied versions though, huh, Scott?
I saw that actually at a con. So I was going through a box and there was a whole bunch of old books. And like there was even one that was like half or 3/4 of the front.
Mm-hmm.
And they had printed the rest on a paper and they taped it to it. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that people did that were weird, but yeah, there's a lot of books. Like when you go cruising eBay and you look at Golden Age books, there's a lot of them that come up, and they're just photocopy books. So like they've either photocopied an original, or worse yet, they've gone on the line to some of these free. They're in the public domain now, and they just print them out, and then they turn around and sell them. It's like.
Yeah, I'm getting 4, so just so I can again give a couple away and grade 1 and keep one to read. So that's what I would like to do for sure. You guys get any books this week? You guys want to show off anything? Or I know that Rob's out of town, so
I got some amazing stuff that's come in the mail the last 2 days, but I haven't been home to even open it.
Dave, you get anything?
I picked up one book from the auction house, and that was about it.
Okay. The book you talked to me about.
Yep.
You're gonna do a video on that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all. I went to the LCS yesterday, but didn't find anything I was interested in getting. A few of the books I talked about they didn't have there. The what do you call it? The Riddler book wasn't even there. They were sold out before I got there.
Ooh.
So I was like, oh, well, that's too bad. Well,
that's why pre-orders are good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I keep hearing about how good the Riddler book is, but I might just read it digitally. I don't need another book that I'm not going to slab in my collection. So
yeah.
Speaking of slabbing, CGC news today. They didn't even post it on their Instagram.
Prove
they
it.
just posted it as a story on their website. And I just happened to go to their website to try to check on my book that's been scheduled for grading encapsulation for like 2 months, and like everyone else has had their TMNT last run and signing books back for like a month and a half, and mine hasn't even been graded. But anyways, I just went to their website to check on that, and that's when I saw that their modern tier times are now 35 days instead of 55, and their fast track time is 11. What do you guys think about that?
So my 2 modern tier books got shipped today,
Wow.
and they were both received June 29th,
Okay.
along with
Okay.
my Golden Age books. So yeah, they just got shipped out today, so I should be getting them in a couple of days, hopefully. Actually, well, because it's already Thursday, so probably by Monday, Tuesday.
For me, I say, I welcome the news, but prove it. Get me my books that are sitting there and do them correctly. There have been a lot of issues lately with quality control, and asking them to speed up even faster does not sound like a recipe for a good high quality, in my opinion. But I open to see it because God knows CBCS has killed themselves with the lead times that they have going on right now. I mean, everything's over a year, and it's absolutely insane unless you pay to play, and they increase the cost to play. So
Yeah, I've stopped sending books to CBCS because I can't deal with that kind of turnaround.
the only thing that goes there for me now are books that
And
I need verified signatures.
Yep, that's
Otherwise, I can't. Yeah,
that's the only thing I'll send to them is verified signatures. So if like I get something signed at a con or something like that, that's about it. I can't deal with a year turnaround time with the way they're going.
and besides, people want to say that CGC is better, yet CGC seems to be looser grading lately. So hey, great! If I can send something that's only a 9 to them, and they're going to give it a 9.4 or 9.6, yeah.
Heck yeah. I want to say I was watching a video, or I was actually just listening to it in the car. Rise Comics had a 9.4. I think it was an X-Men 266. And it had like 10 or 12 spine ticks. It was a 9.
Oh man.
Yeah, I saw somebody just post a Spider-Man 2099 foil that got graded like a 9.0, and you can see so many spine ticks on it. There's like no way.
Yeah, they've hired a ton of new graders there over the last 5-6 months, and they're all grading modern tiers. Yeah, you're not really seeing that in the Silver and Golden Age.
No.
I thought the books I got back were pretty fairly, graded.
Well, that makes sense because of the amount of retailers that sell like 9.8s ahead of time, right? Like there's some. How many do you think? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot of that, plus all the people who are speculating and trying to flip it fast and everything else. So you're totally right. I mean, that's where the glut comes in, and it's also where, in theory, the grading should be the easiest. There's going to be less issues on those books because most of us probably pretty damn good at figuring between, this is probably 9.4, this is 9.3 to 9.3. Yeah, that's a good one. Because it's only like 2 or 3 issues that are on the book. But when you get to those books where you're going, well, this crease is is just under 2 inches, and it's got these many spine ticks and this and that and the other, and there's some foxing and this, it becomes a little bit more difficult sometimes to determine, is this a 5 or is this a 4? Or
Right. The mid grades are the toughest ones, but I do think that if they really did hire a whole bunch of modern graders, it's just because of all the the pre-sold 9.8s. So that's what I personally think. How many 9.8s do you think that they pre-sell over at Black Flag Comics? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, not just them, even all those big online places. There's
all the retailers. Yeah.
Yep. I've been buying a lot lately on Facebook group auctions, and people bid hot on modern stuff, and older stuff I don't have many people bidding against me unless it's a major key. Yeah, well,
Yeah, and that maybe have to come somewhat to do with familiarity. A lot of the people that are spending the money right now are coming in are our age or younger,
yeah,
and they're more familiar with books from the last 40 years, and the last
Mhm.
40 years goes back into the 70s. So when you start talking about Silver Age books, they're not as familiar with them. They may know the characters, but they're not as familiar. They're not when the movie's coming out, they're not thinking of those.
Right.
Yep, I agree. I do feel like modern books are like super hot right now, obviously, because and maybe it's just because the market's down, so people don't have as much money to spend, so they're more willing
Yeah.
to spend
That's
50 or $100 here and there to buy these cheaper books, as opposed to spending, okay, I'm going to spend 500 or 600
that's
on a
what it
Kindle.
is. It's a low entry point, low risk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because even from a speculator standpoint, if I can go in and go, okay, I can get 2 or 3 copies of this variant that might be hot, right,
Mhm.
at 20 or $30 a piece, and then grade them and move them for 200. That's really
Sure.
good. Whereas
Yeah,
how many Silver Age books can I turn around and I got to go try and find them out at garage sales or something? And
Appreciate you, Kenneth. Appreciate you, brother. No, yeah, for sure. I agree
yeah,
with
it's
that.
just much easier to do in the modern comics than it is silver golden age. It's just you're not gonna half the time you're not even gonna find those books either.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
just much easier to do
unless
that.
you're buying up big collections from big people who fast on and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
those are
exactly. And
either
that doesn't
expensive or
happen.
hard to come by.
Yeah,
I hate when people say they have a bunch of old books to sell. Then I remember that the 90s were 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's how I felt the other day when I was talking about the Bronze Age, and I realized it was almost 50 years. It's coming up on 50 years, pretty damn quick.
You think there's going to be another era added to the comic
So,
books?
I mean, absolutely.
CBCS is
It,
already acknowledging it.
who
Really? What are they saying it
what are
is?
they calling it?
are they calling it? The movie age?
No, you know better than I do, Rob. When they did their last updates and everything, they split modern.
Oh, CBCS did. Yeah, they did. But they're calling it. Yeah, they didn't give it a full designation yet, but they have split the
They
modern.
have a designation as it pertains to their business. They're
Right.
acknowledging that the modern era is too large just to be called the modern era
Absolutely.
anymore.
So there's
It
so
is.
if you go into certain sites, and it really becomes when people when it just becomes
it's called-
accepted,
It's called
because even
new.
because when you go into the comic book ages that are actually copper has not even fully been accepted throughout, right?
Sure.
Some people say that the modern age starts where we associate with the copper age. Some people have subdivided where it goes copper, then there's the extreme age, which is like the 90s that I keep trying to call the foil age.
The 2001 to present is just called new versus modern.
Right. And then there's been then there's what another company's been trying, or another people have been trying to push as the movie. This is the movie age, where these movies. There's so many comic book movies and blah, blah.
Sure.
But that doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
because
it's
there's
a
a lot of
dumb thing
comic
to
books that
do.
have nothing to do with movies. So yeah,
Yeah,
the 90s should be the foil age. Right on. Endorse it, guys. It has to do with metal. But yeah, but even still, even if you said, okay, hey, the 80s, to 92, 83 to 92 is your copper age, and you go 92 to 2000 being your foil age, you still got a 20-year modern age there. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
You go to 92 to 2022. That's a long
yeah,
age
30
gap
years is
for
that's
one
a big
current
deal.
era.
yeah. So I don't know. Eventually, somebody will chop it up and they'll do something, but maybe they'll extend the copper age a little bit. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But it just takes the industry coming together. It's not like they were always the golden age and silver
So,
age, right?
okay.
That was much later that people came up with these designations.
Right.
Sure.
I blame
So-
Overstreet for it not happening yet.
There you go.
So they call this, okay, so there's an 18-year gap between Golden Age and Silver Age. So the Golden Age went from 1938 to 1956. And then Silver Age is 1956 and 1970. Bronze
You know what's
Age.
really interesting about this, Burke? On the fatstacksmerch.com, there's a shirt that says comics through the ages, and it breaks out for you platinum, gold, atomic silver and whatever, because the atomic is a subset from the golden age that starts at about 45 and runs through 58 that overlaps with the golden age.
So here it is for anyone.
Yeah, they don't have copper in there exactly.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there's no copper and no atomic age. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't get your thoughts, Mark, on NFT comic books.
As soon as you screenshot it, it's not an NFT anymore.
Well, but these are like what we were saying earlier is that like a lot of the like stocks like is a good way to compare it to. Those are actually like owning part of a company. Well, like an NFT, like some of the, even the NFTs, like they're actually like brand new art. Well, these are literally just digital copies.
Yeah, I know what an NFT is. It's not there. It's the dumbest thing in the world right now to try to invest or play with, unless you just have stupid money investing in it and you're trying to push it into something practical that'll happen down the road. Like if you have an NFT of an image, you own the one and only until a picture's taken of it, until a screenshot occurs. I mean, you can copy an image. I understand no one owns that specific token, but the only thing that makes that token special is no one else has whatever data is in it, whatever image or whatever. I know you can't do that with all of them. There's like statues you can get that you can like spin around and stupid crap like that. There's books you can flip through, but none of it makes sense. It's just in my opinion, it's just like they're just toying around with it to see what can happen. Like I was talking to a new guy and he made a good point. Like if just say down the road you want to rent a car and they don't want to deal with keys. Hotel rooms don't deal with keys anymore. They give you a card and you just touch the door with it. You don't even swipe it or nothing, but
Use your phone.
there you go. That's what I was about to say. Or you use your phone to get in the room. So you want to rent a car in the future, they send you an NFT. And you have that NFT in your phone, and that's what starts and stops your car, and if you decide to run off or you lose the key or something, that's a practical application for an NFT. That way someone else can't come get your car or get the rental car, or someone else can't get in Rob's room.
Well, and because let's think about this honestly, guys. As somebody who's renting a car right now, why do I need to have both damn key fobs together with their freaking giant plastic keychain that says what place I got it from?
So you remember where you got it from.
It's so huge.
Right?
Sorry, I can't stand rental car key fobs and how they give you.
Well, yeah, that's a good practical use for an NFT. What you were just talking about, whereas
Mark is smart like that.
What they're making with comic images, this is just
that's just them playing with new technology, trying to find a way, like trying to find a way to make money off of it. Like
right.
Anyway, even if the day comes and they're using them for just hypothetically for the rental car scenario, you're still going to have jackasses out there selling pictures in NFT format, convincing dumber jackasses that it's a good investment.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just an easy way for them to make a quick buck off of you.
Yeah, it's that simple. And if you think it's cool and you have fun doing it, by all means do it. But that just makes no sense.
We haven't talked She-Hulk yet. Now, obviously, the show just came out today, so I don't need. Dave, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've all seen it.
I haven't seen it.
What?
You haven't seen it, Mark?
I'm just kidding. I watched it at like 4 a.m. this morning.
I was gonna say, there's no way you haven't seen it. So we don't have to be spoilery, but I just wanted to see everyone's thoughts on it.
Spoiler: Jen becomes She-Hulk.
I was gonna say, was there anything spoiler
There's
from
nothing
it?
to spoil at all. Yeah.
It was essentially like an origin, like
Yeah.
They tweaked the origin.
Yeah.
There's your spoiler. But it was the first episode.
Wasn't anything to brag about.
No, but it wasn't bad either. I mean, you're setting the stage.
Indian was bad, dude.
It was a cringy Disney show like they make. So if you're used to and enjoy cringy Disney shows, you'll love it.
Yeah, it was definitely it felt CW-esque. I'll say that.
It did. It did feel like a CW show, like watching The Flash.
I felt
Which,
like
and I love the Flash, so give me
was
crap
like-
for that. But
it was like watching or reading the second season or second volume of She-Hulk a little bit.
it just, I want to hear from Mark about his take on it.
I
overall.
didn't hate it. I wasn't I think like what Rob just touched on. I think that they're hitting some major notes to get the vibes and the feel of that second volume. The fourth world breaking, big time on the girl power kind of stuff, which that's what that book is all about. Not the Savage She-Hulk as much as the sensational She-Hulk. That 2nd volume, they nailed that. They tweaked her origin, like she said, but they still had the essence of it. Like it was a blood transfusion. It was just an unintentional one, because in this world, in the MCU world, especially after Edward Norton's Hulk, there's no way in hell that Banner would ever willingly give anybody a blood transfusion, period. So that was cool, the way that they tweaked it a little bit while still making it the same thing. It's still just, it's, man, if the rest of the MCU wasn't already what She-Hulk is, which is kind of a campy, cringy at times, but kind of maybe it's supposed to be at times, if the rest of it wasn't already like that, this might stand out as something special. But because that's exactly how everything is in every MCU show and movie, minus Moon Knight, probably I'd say, in WandaVision. So it didn't fit. This felt stereotypical Disney to me. Nothing about it stood out. It was special.
Wow, Mark, what a D move.
What?
We're just throwing it back to the show. What a D move.
And if you're a Hulk fan, this is still like the worst era to live in as a Hulk fan, because we don't have good representation of the Hulk on television, in movies, or in comics. And another spoiler, it's a spoiler show. The finale to Kate's Hulk Thor crossover battle went down today. Promised to give us an answer to the age-old question, a definitive answer who would win. They copped out, gave you no answer. When it was all said and done, it looked like we were done with the starship. But that effing tech just came right back on him, and he flew off like an idiot. So we're right back where we started before this fight, with nothing new. What a terrible, terrible day to be a Hulk fan.
That's Donny Cates for you, though.
I thought, from a standpoint of the show itself, I liked filling in what I thought was kind of nice was understanding, okay, what some of the questions people had about Bruce, since we had seen him at the end of, Infinity War versus when we see him next and some of the other things, they kind of explained some of why we see him in Banner form and everything else, so that was good, filling in some of those blanks. Again, I thought it is where it is not a serious movie. It's like you said, breaking down that fourth wall. It's more sensational She-Hulk, and from that standpoint, I'm fine with it.
You know what I thought was cool, and I'm glad they explained the part where
Captain America.
No, the part where Gwen interrupted Bruce from mansplaining so she can woman-splain how she's better at controlling her anger than anybody else who has.
Very true.
Especially the Hulk, because when she gets catcalled or hit on or threatened, she has to control her anger or she can be killed.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here, Disney.
No, but that's legit, dude.
Gee, if
I get news for asking you why. And as your daughter starts growing up, dude, that's a serious thing that you start thinking about. Like what I'm sitting there having to have these conversations with my youngest about, as they're getting ready to go to college, and I have to explain not only the fact that that's the way the world is. Unfortunately, you're going to watch your six, but also the fact that because they're LGBT, that somebody else will go after them.
Give you a shocker, Rob. Everyone has to watch their six. Like, you can't walk out of that hotel room and go outside on the street and go smarting off to someone without getting smacked in the mouth either, man.
But I'm talking about just walking down the street. Forget the walking up and talking smack to somebody. There are women
she was saying she has to control her temper. They were talking about controlling her temper.
It has to do with the overall whole thing, just being cat. When you talk about the cat calling and everything else, it's it's an unfortunate thing that you got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes sometimes. It's a screwed up world on that
I think you
standpoint.
forget I have a 15-year-old daughter as well. Like I'm not.
Oh, you're right. I did forget that. So
Yeah,
so
I'm
you
not
should-
naive to that at all. It's just
Right.
stereotypical Disney move, man. Like whether
What-
there's truth in it or not, it's that heavy-handed, just like where did this come from kind of stuff with Disney. Like in that moment, where did this come from?
I
I
feel
don't
like
know,
they're-
it just jumped out like it when I'm watching this show and they're going through all these emotions and we're just having this like out of nowhere moment. I'm like, it shit just stands out when they do that.
So I'm
stuff,
just
man.
curious. So what is stereotypical Disney then? Because it seems, and no, I'm not intending any offense here.
Oh,
It seems
offend-
like
offend away. I don't get offended.
it seems like whenever something deviates from how you'd like to see it presented, it's stereotypical Disney.
No, when I say stereotypical Disney, it has nothing to do with how I want to present it. They like there's been numerous things that were presented in a way that I wouldn't have expected that were enjoyable. It's the same complaint that I have with comics. It's the same complaint that I have with shows. It's a complaint about storytelling as a whole when you are no longer in the flow or the vibe of the story and you're taken away for them to convey any kind of personal message. And it is a personal message. This is Disney's MO. And you see it with DC as well. I complained about the exact same thing with Young Justice issue 2, where we're no longer in the story. We're now in a fucking seminar for the writer of this to tell us how they feel about what's going on personally. There's a way to convey that stuff with quality. There's a way to convey that stuff with tact, where you can get your message across. And I think the best way I've heard it described is Ryan. Like when you can convey your message without using the exact words you're trying to use, that's how you tell a story. Otherwise you're just giving a sermon. So like X-Men, prime example. Everyone knows what X-Men was meant to be. It was like an allegory for other things. This isn't an allegory anymore. This isn't a part of the She-Hulk show. We just paused the She-Hulk show for them to tell me this real quick. Then we get back to the show. Fitzgerald paused Young Justice for them to tell us this message. Then we got back to it. Mr. Miracle, issue 1, Source for Freedom. They paused the whole book to tell us how the entire DC universe hates black people. Then we got back to what ended up being a fantastic story. When that shit happens, that's a mark on your writers, and it stands out to me because I'm watching this stuff from a story angle. And like if you're not really able to kind of just like stay in the flow of your show, it's just cringy to me. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the message. I'm saying from a storytelling perspective, that's a speed bump in my book.
You cited several examples, and I understand that, but half of those examples weren't Disney. So what is stereotypical Disney?
People didn't think that I was being biased because I get accused of that all the time. Because I intentionally moved over to DC. I intentionally took it to a different medium so that there's examples across the board to be more.
So you're saying that Disney is stereotypical in that they're deciding to deliver a message rather than a story.
Absolutely, yeah. They definitely are heavy-handed on the agenda these days, as are a lot of the DC comics, and like I
think in general the people are.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a hot take by any means.
I would throw out as a devil's advocate for a moment.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it necessarily being heavy-handed, or is it just making sure we're showing a different point of view? And because it's a different point of view that we're used to seeing portrayed a traditional cis white gendered male perspective, the fact that we're being shown something different, that it seems like it's being heavy-handed.
No, it's definitely heavy-handed because it's not like any breaking news that women have to take more precautions than men. It's like it's breaking news. This isn't a shocker to anyone. Like when you said that, like no new information to you, and then I had to remind you, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I'm not stupid to this stuff. This isn't even new in TV or movies. It's the way and the volume in which it's presented. You know what I'm saying? You can go back decades and decades and see the same kind of stuff being presented in different forms and
some of the stuff that was presented decades ago, we don't want to present anymore. We all agree on that.
Well, I'm talking about we're just using the one topic of like feminism, for if you want to call it that, and even just using the term feminism these days isn't even what it meant 2 years ago. You know what I mean? There's so many different factions inside of feminism itself, but it's just, I don't know. They just go hard on. it seems like how Steve said it. Just looks like across the board in any kind of entertainment media, agendas are just playing a heavy hand in it, and that's not one-sided. You know what I mean? I'm not speaking from one side. I'm talking about across the board. It just seems like it's hard to find escapism in anything anymore.
Right or wrong, that it is 100% that way.
Yeah, I'm not
has it,
taking, like I said, I'm not taking a
ESPN,
side to it. It's across the board.
school districts, whatever you name it. Everyone is doing. They're trying to say whatever they need to say to appeal to the people that would get offended.
Well, to answer Marcus's question, why, as it pertains to the example that we're using, why would it be something that Jen would say to the Hulk, who the person trying to talk to her from a place of experience? You know, he's fucking gigantic and green sitting across from her. She supposedly doesn't know what's going on, and her whole life has just changed. He's lost everything, been across the cosmos, been hunted down for years, and is still willing to fight alongside the people that would just consider him a monster. But yet, you know what I'm saying? It didn't fit in the scene. You'd have to watch it, my dude. Again, I don't disagree at all with the facts of what she's saying. It's the presentation as it pertains to storytelling that gets frustrating for me. So, yeah, go watch it. That's why I call it heavy-handed, Rob. It just didn't even make sense in the moment.
I'll agree to disagree. I mean, I don't think it was, but that's my perspective. And you have your perspective, and that's a great thing, right? We can each take it all differently. Okay, cool.
The special effects look great in the show, though. Like the people that were complaining about that early on, it looked like they definitely tightened it back up. Visually, it was great. I
wouldn't disagree with that, but I will say, oh, go ahead, Dave.
It was okay. There were certain parts, and if you zoomed in closely and you looked at their lips when they were doing the CGI, it looked a little weird to me.
Yeah, Banner more than her. It was like the speed. Yeah. I noticed that too, but I'm not pausing it to zoom it in while I'm trying to watch it.
I didn't know. I just assumed
not a big screen format too, so that's budgetary differences. So my expectations aren't the same.
I was watching it on my computer here in the hotel, and I had a lip sync issue, and I wasn't sure if that was tied to me looking at the lips this close with the audio, to a Bluetooth lag, or any number of other things. I didn't hold any of that against the show, but since I was a very early critic of She-Hulk in the first trailer on how the CGI looked, I will agree it came out much, much better. And for a television show or a streaming show that's going to rely heavily on CGI work, which is costly, I thought it was adequate.
I thought they'd be good.
I will say that I understand that, you know, the Hulk wasn't trying to like necessarily hurt She-Hulk, but that fight should have been over in about 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, from my point of view, my perspective.
Well, it just should have, man.
It was completely stupid. Like, I understand they're trying to show that she's powerful too, and you know it's about her anyway. So you got to make sure it's a fight, but like that should have been over.
Oh, my ears hurt. She's clapping at me. She was clapping like a seal. And took the Hulk down to his knees.
It was bad, dude.
Ridiculous.
I also didn't care for him calling himself Smart Hulk.
Oh my god!
It's like, who calls you that? I haven't heard anybody call you that.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. So I was in the Remy Q chat, and Biggie said he watched 5 minutes of She-Hulk, and he said that was enough for him. So I would disagree with that. I kept watching. I'm like, man.
Who was that villain at the end of the episode? That
was Titania.
Titania?
Yeah,
that like we just put her away like 2 seconds.
Disco Girl. That was a Dazzler.
That was a Dazzler. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, if she doesn't show up again, that will have been the weakest hype ever, because they hyped up
it was
her playing this character.
It was hyped up a lot.
What's that?
Said that villain was hyped up so much, and if that was it, it's hilarious. Maybe
Oh,
they're doing-
You will see that
it's the,
spec drop fast.
Titania, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I think they might be doing different villains for like different episodes or something like that.
It was.
I think the whole premise of this show is that a bunch of D-list villains are popping up everywhere and getting in
Yeah,
trouble
I
and
think
need
so.
representation. So we're going to see a lot of just throwaway characters. But Titania should be like a reoccurring frenemy kind of thing at this point, if they're leaning into like the later stuff, especially.
You would, Scott. You would.
Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing them. It's something to watch. It's not on. Like I said, it's one episode in. Just like I don't want to judge any show, whether it had been Kenobi, whether it had been Ms. Marvel, whatever. You're seeing a piece of what is a story arc.
Right.
So judging individual episodes is really, I mean, you can do that, but you can't judge the whole thing because it's not fair. You haven't seen the whole thing yet. At the same time, I also dislike when you have to wait until the final episode for all to make sense, or for something all to click.
So here's what I'll say for that.
And there's been already people who have seen the first 4 episodes.
That's super true, Rob. But there's also such thing as like intuition, and I've, like you kind of just take what you take what you've seen in the past and you apply it to how things are going, and you can project forward. Typically, pretty accurate, And I guarantee you, before this show's over, they're going to dog men out. Guarantee it. Just watch. We're going to be the scum of the earth by the time this is over.
Who is?
Oh, I've been used to that for a long time.
Same thing with a penis, dude.
How many episodes is this series? Is it 6, 8?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got I'm like taking my opinion out of it. Like I'm not too far off with my predictions of how Disney stuff goes. How I feel about it's one thing, but I mean, me just saying that they're going to dog men out to the 5th degree before this is over, that's me just taking a guess. We'll see.
It's 9 episodes according to Tyler.
Okay. I do like how they're doing post credits for every episode.
That post credit was the worst post credits I've seen.
It was, that one was bad.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. A few things. First, Marvel episode 1s typically are not the best, right? And I understand that the MCU is all powerful. They've made I want to say $56 or $58 billion, all time. Totally get it. But and I know we're only 1 episode in, but if you could go back and watch episode 1 of Peacemaker or episode 1 of She-Hulk, which one you watch? This one.
But in all fairness, Moon Knight episode 1 was good. The rest of the series not so much, but to be honest, I don't even remember a first episode of Peacemaker, so that doesn't help either.
Just Peacemaker in general is so much better than whatever this is. I will give it more than 1 episode, of course. And I understand. I didn't even finish Ms.
Honest question here, Bert. Had you read any Peacemaker previous?
No.
Have you read any Peacemaker since?
No.
Have you read any?
Were you familiar with, other than just the pure name of the character once it was announced they were doing a show with Peacemaker?
Oh, I may have read Peacemaker from the comic books, from the Suicide Squad recently, but I have not read not a single She-Hulk comic book ever.
Ask me the same question, Rob. Ask me the same questions.
Well, my reason for asking the question, Mark, wasn't necessarily to pick up, because I haven't read any Peacemaker either. Never have.
There's not a lot to read.
I enjoyed the show. It was a fresh new show to me. Some of these characters, when they come into them, like when I watch, I have a very different take on the Thor than Mark does. Mark is a fan of Thor and has read that stuff. Or me, I just know that he's a character that exists and he has a flipping hammer. Okay. So when I watch the movies, I'm fine with it all. It's all great. She-Hulk, I have a little bit more tangential familiarity with. I have read the original Savage She-Hulk. I've read parts of Sensational She-Hulk. I'm okay with it but I've come to grips with the fact that, the MCU is not my comic books. They take little pieces, whatever. At the end of the day, would I watch one or the other? I don't know. Peacemaker was definitely a fun when I take it as a whole thing, and even most of the individual episodes. I will admit it was great, but that's not, let's say, a Marvel versus a DC. That's just one show versus another.
So here's my question, and you can
Mhm.
take it whatever way you want.
Yeah.
If She-Hulk was not part of the, let's say this show just came out before
Mhm.
Iron Man in 2008, would this be a good show, or would this be a trash show? Based off the first episode, of course. Would that be
It wouldn't even make any sense.
I was gonna say if you just took it off the first episode, you'd be completely lost.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense as a standalone show and not being part of this universe they've established.
that sounds like a letter Disney would send HBO Max. Oh shoot, that is amazing. Mark, what were you going to say about what Rob was saying?
No, I was just joking with Rob. I think he knows the answer.
Yeah.
Rob knows me well enough. But Peacemaker didn't have much at DC to begin with. He had that run at Falcon Comics, which is just kind of just its own thing. And then DC really made him with that 4-issue miniseries in the 80s, which going back to the show wasn't what that was.
Right.
But they found the essence of it, one would say, like in the comic books, because of the era it was written, his dad was not a crazy white supremacist. His dad was a Nazi. His dad, the ghost of his Nazi father haunted him, not the ghost of his crazy white supremacist dad. But that wouldn't work now, because of the time difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think those are the same. I think
they're comparable.
Yeah, well, I mean, nowadays, I don't for sure.
I mean,
I definitely think that one is probably way worse than the other, just on their track record alone. I don't think they could really even do Nazi stuff on TV anymore like that. It's becoming like a taboo word.
All we get is the Illinois Nazis.
Yeah. But little stuff like that, like Chris, like the comedy element, that wasn't attached to any of it. They kind of you can thank James Gunn for that, with like his ability to take, like he did with Guardians, and take characters that wouldn't stand on their own merit and find a way to make them stand on their own merit. But yeah.
Go back and watch Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton.
Love
movie,
it.
And then watch this She-Hulk movie.
You'll
Or
cry.
show. And it will piss you off. I just feel like it would.
It pisses
Well, the
me
Mark Ruffalo Hulk has been very different.
Sure, and I get
not
that.
in Avengers 1. Like, he's become very different, just like everything else in the MCU. It's been beat down, watered down, and cornied. I mean, that's just the whole direction the whole MCU is going. That is really not debatable. Like, that is a stone cold fact. That's just the tone of the MCU in general. Like, you go back to Avengers 1 and you look at Avengers Endgame even, which is a very serious movie at parts, and that's America's ass. It's just a different tone. Everything changed after Guardians. The Russo brothers came in and knocked some stuff out of the park at the same time, and then they just started rinsing and repeating.
I won't disagree. Yeah, I mean, because you go Captain America, the first movie was definitely going to be very straight and all those other things.
Wow. Yeah, it was good. Winter Soldier, wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't say wow enough. Yeah, they just became one trick ponies. They're turning that's why I said if She-Hulk didn't come out in the time era it did around the other MCU stuff that is just like they're just like everything's this way now. So like the only thing that stood She-Hulk out was those two awesome moments where she broke the fourth wall, and I love that Banner looked at her too. You know what I mean? And she like looked back.
What
like
are you
she was
doing?
Yeah, exactly. And as goofy as it was, like just think if like it had a more serious tone to it, and then they broke his bar. You know what I mean? Like that bar actually meant something to him. But it's like, oh man, the bar. Oh, another missed laugh moment. But like I just it has so much that show. I honestly feel like it would be so good had it not exist inside of the sea of that show already. If that makes sense. And I don't think it's bad. I didn't hate it. Like I'm excited for the next episode to see where it goes and everything. I'm excited to see what goes on with Jen. I just have my reservations. Like I don't get too excited because Disney, man. I don't. They've proven to let down. They've lost that trust with me. They're gonna have to earn that back, which I'm not saying they can't, but like just like how the DCEU has with the general public, they lost that trust along the way, and they were having to earn it back. I like that happened with me with the MCU already.
Don't worry, Mark. I'm with you because Disney's done it to Star Wars.
I've heard a lot of Star Wars fans say that.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of Star
Dude,
Wars.
the Lord of the Rings fans are like just tearing stuff up right now, man. The Lord
Well,
of the
that's their
Rings
own
fans
fault
are,
for loving that stuff to begin with.
well, no, I'm just saying like every fandom feels the same way about their own fandom. Like me, like I'm looking forward to the Rings of Power because my wife saw the trailer and she loves like the fantasy stuff, like the Wheel of Time stuff and all that, and she sees it, but she doesn't like. We're not Tolkien scholars. We watch the movies and love them. That's about as far as we go. We've watched them numerous times, more times than I can count with the Lord of the Rings stuff. But I understand where people would be upset if they've bastardized Tolkien's work to make this. I completely understand that, and I think they're justified in that because I don't think any big. I know their job is to make money, but I think coming in and grabbing hold of established fandoms and bastardizing them for the sake of making money and trying to bring in other fans instead of working with the fandom that exists. That's guaranteed money. You're not gambling money with guaranteed money, but they'd rather gamble money.
I don't think that. I do think people are happy we're getting comic book shows and movies. I get that, but it doesn't mean we can't be critical of it and we can't review it.
Oh man, I'm never going to just watch and be happy. I'm not made that way. I'm going to send Air Spidey, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman 84. Just watch those two and just be happy.
Oh shit.
Well, I do tend to separate it, I think, a little bit differently for the most part. So I don't get. I think I've just been forced over the years. I've even come to the realization, even within my own great fandom of Star Wars, right? I've come to accept that even, those original movies aren't what I thought they once were or anything else.
Sure. It's the memory of the movie, right?
Exactly. And I definitely despise a lot of the stuff that has come out or don't appreciate it. But I don't, at the same time, each time it comes out, I don't go in expecting them to suddenly fix and change what their track record's been. But I still go in because, I'm a fan of this universe and this is what I'm going to do. I enjoy these things and I can separate some of that. And when it comes to Marvel, it's a little bit easier because it's a separate medium that they're coming to, or even DC when you're TV shows and stuff. And I would watch all those stupid CW shows just about even when they were coming out for a while.
Stargirl for the win.
I haven't watched that one, but
oh my god, it's good.
Mostly because it didn't start on CW, I think, and then, anyways. But I would sit there and watch them and go I accept them as this separate universe unto itself. And they're characters I'm familiar with, but they can change things, and I'm not necessarily married to most of it. And I'm some of it comes out across okay, and some of it tends to be really fun and exciting. And unfortunately, right now the last couple, I don't know if it's a fatigue factor even. Some of the Marvel stuff is just it's like, okay, here's the next one, and I'm waiting for something really, really great. But none of the stuff, I haven't found it to be really, really bad. It's just not been. It's just been okay. It's just moving along and making its money. I don't know if that. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a good thing. It just is. It's like most of the comic books on the shelf each week.
So, did you like the sequel trilogy?
No, you're talking about 7, 8, 9.
Yes.
That's the most disjointed, ridiculous stuff. I mean, there's probably about 15 minutes worth of episode of stuff in all three movies that I enjoyed, and the most of the rest of the stuff I felt like it was just either retreading, like the entire episode 7, where it's telling the same movie, or I really disliked. My biggest complaint, actually, I'll sum it up really short. My biggest complaint with 7, 8, 9 is the over reliance on making either expecting your primary audience to have read all the different stuff that's been done, or asking your audience to go do homework. My parents could not track those movies because they only had watched Star Wars back when and the prequels back when. They don't watch them over and over again. They don't read the comics, don't read the novels. When 7 launched,
That's their fault.
when 7 launched, you were expected, if you want to know things like why the hell was Princess Leia with a group of rebels or whatever, even though there was a government that she had brought into power, and the Imperial, and then you had the First Order and all this stuff. They never explained any of that in the movies. You had to go read these other books that were written in between beforehand and be tracking the stuff in these comics and novels and this and that and the other thing. My son's trying to explain it to me. Even I don't know because I didn't read those novels and stuff. I shouldn't have to do homework to understand what's going on in a movie.
I couldn't agree more. Not at least on that level. It should be one of those things where it's like added benefit but takes nothing away. Like, if you don't read it,
yeah,
no worries. But if you do read it, here's a little bonus for you.
And I think the concept of that there's this galactic evil that the government that was when we last saw them that they had established does nothing, but you have this other group of rebels off doing their own thing again. That's a big enough plot. I mean, yes, the movie goes without it, but I should know why.
I feel like we got off on a tangent here.
Yeah, we did, but that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. What are you guys doing this weekend?
Oh, there's going to be going to an elk lodge. They're going to be doing like a comics, collectibles, and toys show on Sunday. So I'll be doing that. Maybe
Nice.
I'll do a little footage, see what I can get over there.
I've been moving my son into his dorm room as he starts his 3rd year. And so tomorrow I'll take him shopping. Well, tomorrow morning, of course, we'll go over to Legion of Comics in the morning. And I'll go shopping with him, pick up some stuff. And then I'm going to get out of here Saturday, get back home, record a video. And Sunday, I got a local I'll be at the San Jose Con comic book shop, the store, or convention at the Holiday Inn ballroom. Went to it last year. It was really great. Had a lot of it was really focused, old school. A lot of comics, a lot of stuff that I can filter through. Some cheap books, some good artists coming in there. So
Nice.
I might be on in the morning. I most likely won't be.
oh,
Taking care of Mom.
is somebody else? Is
Well, how
Tyler
is she
gonna?
doing, by the way?
Tyler's not going to be able to hop on tomorrow. I can't remember what he said he's got going on. We're talking the other day, and he said he's doing something.
Oh, so I can sleep in then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I take that back. Tomorrow morning I won't be on Legion of Comics.
Again, I might be, I might not be. And also, Finn just started school back, and life's just busy right now.
Yeah, it is.
Mom just had a full knee replacement, for those who don't know, so she's not very mobile. So her best friend and myself are splitting up days taking care of her, and I had to work the last 2, so I'm off this weekend. So I'm going to be Good job. You ate your fruit bar. So I'm going to be going over there. I'm going to be taking Finn to school and going over there tomorrow.
Yeah, a full knee is a big recovery.
She's doing great, though. I mean, it hurts like hell, obviously, but
Yeah.
she's doing all the exercising and everything and really motivating herself. It's awesome.
Nice.
What are you up to this weekend, Steve?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm supposed to be getting a list like yesterday.
A honeydew list?
No, a list from someone to make a top 10 video.
Oh.
And so we'll see if I get one or not to make this video because they reached out to me about doing something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
So we'll see if it comes to fruition or not.
So
So
make your own top 10 list.
that's just, it would be their own top 10 list. It literally would be. And so we'll see if it happens. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be really, really cool. So.
I actually got to make my, while we're talking about it, my road to 1K video too. I'll make that this weekend.
Do it, dude. Nice. How are you doing on hours?
I don't even know. I'm probably still right around the same.
I'm sure you're doing way better. I'm sure you're doing way better than that.
I haven't checked, to be honest.
Look, where's Chip Gittler at? What I want to check. Is he at like 900 yet?
Oh, no.
No,
Yeah.
he's eight and change. He's grown a lot. His channel's grown big in the last week or two.
Is at 858.
Really? You mean he's past me now? Shit. Oh.
His minor rant video is at 7,200 views.
That's insane. That's
That
awesome.
is so awesome.
Yeah, congrats on him.
He has 3 other videos over 1,000 views as well, including the counterfeit video is at 3,100 views. That's so awesome. He's a god.
Wow.
Yep.
No. He'll be at 1,000 pretty soon. I'm sure he's got his watch hours with that many views on that video.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Well, I appreciate you guys for hanging out. That's pretty much all I got. You guys got anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I figure that probably at this rate I should hit 1,000. I don't know, this time next year.
There you go.
100. It'd take me that long to get another 150 subscribers.
I need to get, dude. It's taken me forever just to get to 3,000 from 2,700 or 2,750. I've gone up only 30 in the last 28 days.
I don't know.
214 away.
I just know it's around I'm around what Chip has. Like I think it's like 856. I've had the hours for a long time. I maintain my hours. I just don't.
That's good. Yeah.
So I got over 5,000.
I'm nowhere
on the rolling average. I just don't have the subscribers.
It's hard, man. It's a tough world out here. It is a tough world out here. No doubt about it.
It's hard out here for Pimp Steve. You're going to make it, though, brother.
One of these days, we super believe in you.
You guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. I love it. I'm going to hit up all the sponsors and we'll get out of here. You know what? I got time to hold on. You guys talk to him for like a minute. I'm going to fix this graphic while I
talk to who?
Because,
the people watching.
Because I want to make sure that we get Marcus on this list here.
Oh, well, there you are.
Oh, nice.
So let me fix this real quick while you guys talk to the kids.
Oh, goodness gracious.
There we go. Hold on.
Rob, you pick up any new Silver or Golden Age books?
Yeah, well, I got a Golden Age book that I'll be. I'm thinking I'm going to do the unboxing on Saturday, since I don't have only slabs this week because I'll be in the air.
Oh yeah,
but I may when I get home, I may either go live or record and release an unboxing of a big Golden Age book that I got. Other than that, bye, Steve. Other than that, I have a couple that I've been looking at. Actually, I just bought one. I bought one today. I forgot. Well, it was this morning. I bought an Atomic Age sci-fi book.
Nice. I
Found
find-
one.
yeah.
Managed to find one for like $50.
Oh, you'll have to tell me after.
Yeah. But
Um,
otherwise, tomorrow it'll be. I mean, Sunday. That's my thing. Is I'm going to go and I'm going to be kind of on the lookout for like some of the Silver Age, but some of the raw mystery and space books I still need for my fill in some of my gaps, and I'll probably look at some of the Invaders books that I need for my finish off my run there. Stuff that not everybody's looking for.
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I can find some vendors this weekend that's selling some silver or golden age. We'll see. I've never been to this Elks Lodge, so I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Marcus wants our picks of the week. Your pick of the week. I would say, like I said, Flash 785. That book was fantastic. It was so good.
What book?
So good. As a Dark Crisis Time, so good.
That was
What
the.
book is it?
That's the only book I've read so far this week.
I haven't read any books. I have to go pick mine up from my shop on Saturday.
What book did you say? I didn't even hear it.
He was asking pick of the week.
My
Yeah,
pick of the week was what I did on my channel was the Riddler book. I haven't read it yet though.
Yeah, the Riddler was amazing. Like
Was it?
that was a master's class in single issue storytelling. That was an amazing book. Do a Power Bomb issue. Was it 3 that just dropped? Wow.
3. Yep.
Wow.
I gotta
Wow.
read that too. I gotta read that.
Yeah,
Both
and Paul,
of those are just absolutely amazing.
For,
Marcus says he's thinking about starting an Action Comics run this week because he's now a DC guy.
I was going to answer Paul. I was going to tell Paul that, yeah, where I'm at, obviously, I live in the San Jose area. There's lots of comic shops. I intentionally go to a comic shop that doesn't have a huge back bin.
Smart.
So I don't. It's actually disturbing how little back issues they have. There is another one nearby me that has a huge. They're really well known for their buying collections constantly. I'll see them at the con, but I try not to go to that store because I will go broke. I'm still trying to put my kids through tuition.
Bob walking into a shop and his subconscious just steering him to the back bins.
I just be like, oh, I need this and this and this, and I want it all now. I have no concept of delayed gratification.
And this is for Ryan. He was asking any new IPAs on the way. So I do got. I'm drinking an IPA right now by Lord Hobo Brewery. It's called Boom Sauce. It's a double IPA.
And to Marcus's comment, if you're thinking about starting an Action Comics run, don't start this week. Don't you're at the final issue of Action Comics from
Dude, that cover looks awesome, by the way.
with steel on it. It's like a 20
Yeah.
issue, it's a 20 issue run, and this single issue that's coming out is the culmination of the backup stories from the past 5. So this is not the one to start a run on. You're going to be lost like hell. But after this, they're about to be merging it's going to be the return of Clark Kent. I would suggest jumping on at that point. I mean, if you just want to grab and start reading, by all means. But if you're looking for the front end of a run, this is the back end of a saga you're on right here. So what comes after this will be continued in what is it? Superman War World Apocalypse 1. And I would start right there with War World Apocalypse.
This is a sick Perillo cover.
Yeah, he's holding that Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Conduit came and jacked that out of the fortress, and they need it to get to Clark on War World. And there's like a whole. It feels like Lord of the Rings, like with how deep the mythology's gone in this saga. It's nuts.
Is that the books for next week you were previewing, Steve?
You want me to pull it? Yeah, I mean, I got it right here. I'll
Yeah,
pull it
let's
up
take.
real
I don't
quick.
even know what's coming. I haven't.
I
Looked
do
at
know
it.
that tomorrow I'm going to swing by the local comic book shop that's in this town and check them out. Last time I did that. I found some pretty good. That's where I found that Batman Joker book that you got, Steve. I found it here when I was in Utah last time.
Oh, nice. Nice. You guys see all that?
Yep.
No one was saying anything. That's what I was wondering.
The finale of Swamp Thing is next week as well. Rom V's second issue on Detective Comics.
I didn't read the first issue of White Knight Presents Red Hood #1.
I read it.
Pass, hard pass.
Okay.
I didn't like the interior artwork.
Whoa. There's multiple artists. Simone DeMeo killed it. But you gotta like Simone DeMeo art. It's very acquired.
I'll get the extra afro.
That's a nice cover for Gwen verse number 5.
Pass.
If I do this, just do this. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
I'm picking up that Red Hood one though, just because I want to know more about Jason. That
That's
was
nice.
pretty cool though. What
That's
Joker did to him, like the difference in the whole death in the family thing that happened in this universe.
DOT 20. That's a cool Darth Vader cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice.
The I Hate Sand variant.
I like that Robin cover. That
that
looks
the
like the
black-
what is it, like Batman 618, 617, something like that. When they're both running together, Robin and Batman. I can't remember. It was from the Hush storyline. It's like the same pose.
You got a comment, Steve?
What? No, I ain't highlighting that. What's going on, MSG? Go Cats! As you can see, I'm wearing a shirt and everything. I don't see very much coming out next week.
It's a light week.
I'll
next
tell you
week.
what, though. I'll tell you what.
Keep on scrolling down.
Deathstroke Inc. The year 1 storyline is very good. It's very good. I need to make sure that's on my list for next week. I wasn't even pull it, and Paul put it in there, and I couldn't be happier to have it, man. I could not be happier to have it. It's so good.
Oh, nice. Grimm is back out next week.
Batman Fortress, whatever that is.
Superman's gone. The world's riding. What will Batman do?
Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, got damage control.
Yeah, it's been on hiatus for a little while. Brian Michael Bendis kind of wrapping up some stuff, introducing the Gold Lantern.
Gold Lantern was already introduced.
Just a different kid, I think.
Oh.
I don't mean like the first Gold Lantern, like just some new slingers.
Oh, okay, got it.
We live Age of the whatever. How do you say that? Ladians?
Oh, the
Palladians is the final issue of this volume.
Yeah.
Cool. Wind, the Throne, and the Sky. Huh. I don't see a whole lot for me next week, I'll be honest. I just don't.
That Detective Comics facsimile is not even on there.
I know, but it's coming out. It's on Previews World.
I hate that website doesn't do stuff like that on there. They don't have the trade paperbacks that are releasing, the hardbacks.
I agree.
But otherwise, that's an awesome website, though.
I feel like I should just do it from Previews World, but I guess they probably don't have everything too.
They should. Well, they would.
What's that?
They should. It's only when it's usually where they have their biggest problem on Previews World is when you're trying to look at when the new catalog drops and you're trying to look at DC. It takes it a while before the DC stuff gets uploaded because DC's not doing any distribution with them.
Right. Anyone read Shirtless Bear Fighter 2 that came out this week? I don't think any of us on the panel were.
I'm gonna read it.
All right, I'm going to hit up all the sponsors. We'll get out of here. I know I said that like 10 minutes ago. Thank you to the channel members. Everyone in the family tier there, including Marcus, Circumstances Comics, is entered to win that monthly Burke Box sponsored by the 616comics.com. Everyone in the family tier and friends here, a link to their Instagram and YouTube is in the description of my videos. So subscribe to them, follow them, and support this amazing community. Thank you to everyone in the supporter tier as well. Speaking of the 616comics.com, thank you to them for sponsoring the channel and the monthly Burke Box. Guys, check out their website, the 616comics.com, for exclusive variants, ratio variants, slabs, statues, and more. Awesome website, awesome people, great, obviously, of them to sponsor the channel. And thank you to Eric as well. If you guys ever need any books pressed, head up Eric, comic_pressing IG. Use promo code BURK54, get free shipping back to you on your first order. And If you're considering starting YouTube, consider StreamYard. There's an affiliate link below. I get a little kickback, but it costs you the same. I am finally at the point where I can get paid out from that. I think only like a handful of people sign up for it, but I appreciate the people that did. Thanks everyone for watching. And as always, go Cats!
Cowabunga. It's Morphin time.